Hey guys, Greg here from Ballistic Barbecue. Today I'm doing a cook exclusively for Primo ceramic grills. Cooking a 3 1/4 pound Porterhouse on the Primo XL, guys. Let's get going. All right, very excited about this cook. I'm actually applying some techniques that I learned from an article on the website Amazing Ribs. Meathead Goldwyn just wrote a really good article on reverse searing. And the technique's a little bit different than I normally use, and I think you're gonna like it. I think I'm going to like it. It just made so much sense. Anyway, we're going to start out by seasoning this gigantic steak here. Again, it's 3 1/4 pounds, and it's 2.5 inches thick of just beautiful steak. What we're going to do now, and it's over an hour before I start to cook, but we're going to do what Meathead describes as a dry brine. And I am seasoning this steak with just a lot of kosher salt. Basically what the idea is, I'll season it, place it back in the fridge, and the salt will draw the moisture out, and then the steak's going to pull it back in. So you're going to end up with a very, very juicy, flavorful piece of meat. So I got this side done. I'm going to go ahead and flip it and do the other side. Be back in a minute. All right, all sides are seasoned on this big, beautiful piece of meat. I'm going to put it back in the fridge. In the meantime, we're going to get going on a Gorgonzola compound butter that we're going to hit the steak with after it's done cooking. All right, this compound butter is really, really basic stuff, but it delivers some great flavors. Start out with 1/2 cup or 1 cube of softened, unsalted butter. 1/4 cup of crumbled Gorgonzola cheese, and this is at room temperature. 1/4 cup of chopped green onion. And this started out as 1/2 cup of red wine. I used a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I reduced it down to about a tablespoon, so it's got some really nice intense flavors here. Just gonna combine all this together. All right, so it's all combined. It's compound butter now. Let's get it on some plastic wrap. All right, so plastic wrap laid out on my cutting board. Sometimes plastic wrap is challenging for me to unravel. This stuff just really doesn't like me. Just blob it out onto the middle of this sheet here. Grab those end pieces, give it a twist like a salami, and there you guys go. All right, so butter is going to join the steak in the fridge. About a half an hour or so before I start the cook, I'll be pulling the meat out, let it warm up a little bit, come up to room temp. I will be seeing you guys outside next to the Oval XL where we'll start this cook. See you in a bit. All right. Oval XL is preheated to about 225. Give it a little bit of a burp and open the lid. Now I'm running 2 very distinct temperature zones right now. One of the nice things about the Oval XL is it comes with a cast iron divider, which I have in place, so all my charcoal is on this side of the cooker. I have this porcelain coated grate on the low position, and then the other side is in the elevated position. Most of the cooking is going to be done on the cool side here, where the charcoal is not below the meat. Go ahead and place that meat up on top of the grate. When you're cooking like this, it's very, very important that you have a very accurate thermometer, digital thermometer. We're going to go ahead and place this thermometer in the center of the meat. I'm going to insert it without touching the bone. Close the lid. So for this part of the cook, I will be running the Oval XL at 225, which is much lower than I normally would till I read this article. I used to run it at like 450, but again, it makes total sense coming from a barbecue background, that really low and slow cooking. I will be flipping this once around the halfway point, and I'm going to be pulling this steak at about an internal temperature of between 115 and 120 before we go to the direct sear. So, see you guys in a bit. All right guys, so it's been cooking about 50 minutes and I hit an internal temperature of 117. So we're going to move on to the next stage, which is the searing of the meat. Burp the cooker, open it up. As you can see, it's just a gray piece of meat right now, just sort of a tan. But it won't be for long. So pretty soon it's going to have a nice crust. What I'm going to do is just set this aside, and I want to get this hot side of the cooker stoked up so it's going to really sear this meat. See you in a few seconds. All right, so now the hot side is really hot, and we are going to start that direct sear now. A little different than we're used to, at least me. We're going to try to avoid getting those grill marks. And I actually patted dry the other side of the steak before getting it on here because the moisture can actually slow down the searing process. So what I'm going to do is just keep the stick moving. I want to avoid getting those grill marks. I want to look for a nice even caramelization throughout. So I'm looking for a nice brown color. All right guys, and that is what we're looking for. Nice even brown. So we'll put this on this other side of the cooker now. What I'm going to do is apply some clarified butter and some pepper. So we're going to keep this guy moving, and you do not want those flare-ups. All right guys, it's looking good. Let's get it on the cutting board. Looks beautiful, guys. Let's go ahead and put some of that compound butter on here. Now, let's see how we did. Nice medium rare. Very juicy. Let's check out that fillet side. All right, one last thing to do. Some of that butter on there. Wow. It's good, guys. Really good steak, and it's extremely tender, extremely moist. Very happy. I'm very, very happy. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. See you on the next video, guys. Cheers.